When I first came to Taktse, I was very nervous. I was extremely nervous and I was conscious. I was thinking like how I will like. I heard lots of things from my friends, and then I came for an interview. Then I came for an interview with Mr. Langseng, and I had like it's not just you have to face one interview, but you have to go. You have to have series of interviews with all the coordinators and principals out here. So when I had an interview with Mr. Lawson, I was so nervous because I was not accustomed to the English language first. So he asked me various questions despite academic and the teaching experience that I had, but then he made me ease by asking me my cultural background, my family background, like my school life and my childhood and all. That makes me so comfortable. Like, no, oh, now I can say anything to this person. Because otherwise, this is not the scene in other schools when you are interviewed. Like, you really have to be interviewed. Like, really have to answer the questions very like diplomatically, or you have to really think. But then here, like the interview, I think it went for 1 hour. And that makes me so comfortable.
I felt at home with all the teachers out here, and then the dining hall down there, but I was new to the environment. And then after the teachers orientation was over, slowly the teachers started moving out, and I started to feel a bit nervous because in a big building like this there was no one, and then the students hadn't come for the hostel also. And then I thought like the principal and all, they would stay here, but after some time I could hear the bus, the vehicles, and then I realized I was all alone. And like it was so funny, like I couldn't find my way to the dining hall because the two ways, I don't know where I was landing. Like I was going to the upper courtyard, lower courtyard, and the nights, I think those were the worst nights of my life. I was all alone in the resident manager's room, and the backfield which you see now wasn't a proper backfield. Like the hills were very close to the school, and at night, when the wind used to blow, the twigs and the small stones used to fall on the roof, and the wind used to howl, as the woman was crying.
My first day at Taktse, I remember it being very cold, and I came in. We were a big batch of, I don't know, around 20 people, 20 new people. And I'm not a big fan of crowds, and I felt very lost. And I didn't understand what I had got myself into, because I hadn't been working for some time, and then I come to this completely new place. Lots of people, and very energetic and enthusiastic. It was very overwhelming for me, I think, the first few days. And I remember the intensive PDs with Miss Thapa, and she would take us to class. She would take us to various classes and talk us about the literacy block and the various components. And at that point I thought, this is something I cannot do, because it was too much for me to take in. And I remember crying endlessly because I missed home, I missed being with my familiar people. And I think but after a while, I don't know, something happened. I started getting along with people, and you suddenly realize that the others are feeling as overwhelmed as you. It's just you need to go out and sometimes make space and talk about and be honest about how you feel. And I think after I broke down and some people came to know that I was so overwhelmed, that they began to share their feelings, and I started feeling at ease. And it's been a long journey, 6 years. And people ask me, how long have you been here? And I say 6. I feel ancient, but when I look back, I just don't remember the 6 years at all, because it just feels every year has been new for me, and I've been doing new things, meeting new people, and learning as much as I did the first year. So I don't feel, the thing about numbers. They say there's no strength in numbers, and it truly goes when you are in Taktse. It doesn't feel like you've been here for so long. Every day is new, and every year is a different experience.
When I first came to Taktse, I think I was given grade 2 under Miss Taktse, and the way she used to handle kids was amazing. And then I used to think, like, if I'll be given a class, how will I be able to take care of the kids? How will I do classroom management? So just looking at her, I used to feel that. And then the very next year I was given kindergarten, and at the beginning I was overwhelmed, but Miss Thapa was there with me. But then, I mean, it was really difficult for me to work with the kids, with the crying kids initially, because the first day of school was really what do you call, the crucial day. We were strangers for them, and then the parents would come in and they would leave the crying kids inside, and me and Miss Thapa would, carry them and take them inside the class and all. So I felt like, oh my god, how will I work in kindergarten? But slowly, as time progressed by, I was able to, make connection with the kids, and then I started developing the skill to handle kids, to handle small kids, 3 years, 4 years kid, and work with them. So now I think kindergarten has been the best place for me. I really enjoy working with them, and I hope to work there with them in future too.
I joined Taktse in the year 2010, October 2010, and before I joined Taktse, I had not been working for about 8 to 9 months. So I was at a point in life when I was really raring to take on challenges, responsibilities. I just wanted to do so much at that time. And when I joined the place, I felt like I have come to the right place. There were a lot of new things. I was teaching computers when I first came, and right from a new way of education to taking on sports, like being a part of the sports Olympics day. And when I had never ever taken part in sports in my school days, there were just so many things happening at once, and I was truly fascinated by what Taktse had in store for me.
I was a teacher before for 10 years, but I see a very vast difference in this school and from the school from where I came. I was very nervous, that word international was scaring me, like international means something big. They would expect a lot from me. But later I realized, like your mentors, the principal, the board members, like they are people whom you can talk to them freely. They listen to you. And then it's not that like where I came from, other schools where they did the talking and my answers would be yes, 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 yes. But out here, like, they listen to you. And then another thing, like out here, this PD and all, they give you a platform of where you can learn, and especially confidence. Because if I was still working in that school, I don't think I'd be talking in front of a camera like this. So like the nervousness is not there. And another thing is, when you talk to your mentor or your principal, you don't feel you are talking to a boss. And like the principal, the mentors, the teachers, newcomers or the old, we are all in the same level.
Stage, when I look back, I feel like I've really come a long way. Like 6th year, so at this now I'm mentoring some of the teachers out here, and then I feel so good about myself, because I used to have a long teaching experience, but in the previous school we didn't do that. It's just like you going through the process, going through the mode of process, but out here the school gave us opportunity to grow. I think that's very important in one's life. It's not, you are not stagnant, you're growing. So
I think being here in Taktse for 4 years, my approach towards technology has taken a new dimension. When I first joined Taktse, I think the only software I was familiar with was Microsoft Word, but now I'm familiar with so many new softwares. For example, Google Drive, Dropbox, Google Calendar, and many more. And I think this is all because I'm here in Taktse and not somewhere else.
Mr. Langston always had this philosophy of work hard and party hard, and I think it fits absolutely right for us because we work really hard, but there are times when you read, when you have fun, tremendous fun, and you just forget everything. And I remember this incident when we went for a rafting, all the teachers, and I don't know the exact spot, some 25 miles or something. And then we started off from there, and there was a teacher along with me, and different teachers on different rafts. And I remember this moment when I think I laughed the hardest was I wanted to be really at the front because I wanted to experience the water, and but because I'm skinny and light, so what happened when the raft went along those, what do you call it, ripples or something, we started, there was a gush of water and I was swept, inside the raft, and I actually drowned in the raft. And there were the teachers, and I could not get up because I was laughing so hard, and I swallowed so much water. And they said, okay, now you need to go back. And I said, no, I want to feel the water more. And then again I went in the front. And then the same thing happened. And this time I didn't drown in the raft, but I landed on a faculty, a male faculty's lap. And he tried to push me off. I could not because it was so heavy with water. But that's one moment I remember laughing so hard with him. And he's no longer with us, but whenever I meet him, he says, oh, you were so heavy that you never laugh. So that was some fun moments.
The challenges were how you managed your classroom and the language that you have to use to the kids. I think that is very important. And we used to, in our PDs, we used to get language from our coordinators, like what kind of language. And sometimes we try to make those language universal language so that all the teachers can use the same language to the students. And then, yeah, rather than like just ending up with rude languages like don't shout, or like what should be doing rather than shouting, or like don't ask me, or what should be doing if they are not asking questions. So we have many languages that was passed on to us by our coordinators during the PDs and all, and we try to inculcate and we try to use those languages in the class. And I really want to encourage all the teachers, teachers, like whatever you are learning in PDs, please implement that in your respective class. I think that will really help you a lot.
I think after coming to Taktse, I've felt accomplished in a way. When I look back at my 3 years, I feel successful. I feel that there were so many things I was so scared of doing at first. They seemed like challenges that I could never get over. But after having finished that, after having completed those challenges, I feel such a sense of accomplishment. Some of the fun things I've had would be definitely with my students in class. We have tried new projects, have had class parties. I don't know. I think when I went for the adventure retreat, the EduCorp retreat to Chimsey, that was one of the most exciting things I've ever done. Like rappelling down a 160 feet rock and then trekking for 4 hours. I think that is something I'll always cherish.
People stay just a little bit longer. We want to play just a